Hi again. Welcome back to another episode of FNL Fridays. I'm Teresa, your host, and I'm here to talk about all things fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. Today's topic is an extremely important topic. It's something that I have touched on a lot in my Instagram posts, in some of my newsletters, and in just conversations I have with other people. And it's something that's extremely important to me, and it's a message and education that I'm trying to share with others to help other people through it. And that is why it's so easy to fall into or adopt disordered eating behavior, which ultimately many times leads to eating disorders. As you probably know, I dealt with multiple eating disorders for many years, and I'm very happy to say I no longer deal with any of them really anymore, aside from probably just some average thoughts that most of us have. But I used to struggle mainly with binge eating disorder. I also had orthorexia, which is basically an obsession with eating clean foods, and you're pretty much afraid of anything that's not, and anything that's processed is off limits, so it's all just whole, fresh foods, which in general is great, but not if you're afraid of other foods. So I dealt with that for a long time. Occasionally, I had bulimic episodes where I would binge to the point of feeling food still in my throat because I had eaten so much, so I would vomit to get rid of that feeling. And I also dealt with body dysmorphia, which is basically the way that you see your body is kind of skewed from reality. So a lot of times people that have anorexia will see themselves as fat. Even if they weigh 90 pounds, they'll still see themselves as fat because in their head they are. So for me, even at my leanest, which luckily I was still healthy, but at my leanest physically, I still thought I looked fat. I thought I looked chubby, that I wasn't attractive, that I didn't look good enough, that I didn't look like a personal trainer enough, that people would judge me. And unfortunately they did, actually, which is really shitty. But, because I didn't fit that super lean, muscular mold of what a personal trainer should look like, even though that's bullshit. But I struggled with that for a long time. Now I can say I am pretty much through with all of those issues. Of course, I still have little thoughts here and there. We all do, but I can confidently say that I no longer binge and I no longer have any episodes of bulimia, nothing like that. So I want to talk about this issue because it's so important and it's very prevalent, especially with females. I think it's like 75% of women have struggled or are currently struggling with some sort of eating disorder or disordered eating. So I want to bring light to this subject and talk about why so many of us fall into this. First and foremost, the biggest component that plays into disordered eating, in my opinion, is diet culture. Now that's a very broad term and it kind of covers most of the other things that I'm going to talk about, but essentially it's diet culture, right? It's society telling us, other people telling us how we should look, what we should eat, things that we should say about ourselves. They teach us the way to talk about other people, not directly, but indirectly by overhearing the ways that we talk about food and other people and their bodies. So diet culture plays a huge role in eating disorders and disordered eating. And that's the first thing to be aware of, because if you can identify it and see it when it's happening, you're less likely to kind of fall into that trap and succumb to the negative effects of it. One of the components of diet culture is the way that we talk about food and labeling foods as good and bad. And I know you've heard this before where it's like, oh, I'm eating a salad. I'm so good. I'm healthy. This is good for me. Which, yes, salad is generally nutritious if you have the certain ingredients in it. But then, having French fries and, oh, I'm bad. This is bad for me. These are bad. Those types of words, honestly, have no place around food. And we've been very much conditioned to believe that they do and to think that it's natural. But if you can start looking at food from a more holistic perspective and nutrition's perspective, just of what's in the food, what vitamins and minerals does it have, what kind of energy is it supplying to me, what is it made of, how was it made, how do I feel about this food, how does this food make me feel? All of those sorts of questions are the things that we should be saying about food, as opposed to just labeling it as good or bad, because things are not black and white, and that includes food. Another thing that plays into disordered eating are cleanses and supplements. Now, I am not saying that certain cleanses or supplements don't have a purpose and that they couldn't help you or have some positive effect. That's not what I'm saying. But when I see all the time these 7-day juice cleanses where all you do for 7 days is drink green juice, or the skinny teas where you replace your meal with a skinny tea and it increases your metabolism and it helps you burn fat, even though those things may sound like good to you, it's all just a product that someone is selling to you and telling you you need it because something is wrong with you right now. Whether it's you need to lose weight, or you need to get a flatter stomach, or you need to reset your metabolism, which is kind of bullshit. Supplements and cleanses, I'm not really a fan of any of those. I personally don't use any supplements. And when I say supplements, I'm talking about mainly talking about like fat burners, things like that, where they talk about your metabolism or burning calories, anything that's related to like weight loss. Certain supplements I don't really have an issue with either way. Maybe it's some sort of pre-workout that gives you a boost of energy. That's not really my concern. I'm talking about supplements that are aimed to help you lose weight or lose fat or change your body. I think that's the key element here, because most of the time, disordered eating comes from wanting to change your body in some way, whether it's gaining weight, losing weight, sculpting your body to look a different way. Many times eating disorders are tied to trying to change our bodies. Another really big one, and this is especially important to me because I am a personal trainer, and I hope that all of my clients would agree with me when I say they will never hear me say anything like, we need to get bikini ready, or beach body ready, or summer bodies are made in the winter, or, oh, I'm glad it's winter because I can cover up my fluff with puffy clothes. None of that. I don't say shit like that because it's terrible. It's terrible to put those ideas into other people's heads, especially people that are coming to you for help. I've worked with many other people who have said these sorts of things, and it drives me crazy because our job is to help you. Our job is not to encourage you into disordered eating. Please, if you ever work with somebody who says that you need to get a 6-pack, and again, if this is a personal goal of yours, that's different. But if you have somebody essentially body shaming you and telling you that you need to lose fat to be more valuable or to look better, or you need to look a certain way, or that having extra fat or looking a certain way is in some way a negative thing that you should want to try to change, please find a different trainer or a different gym. Even as a personal trainer, I've had other personal trainers body shame me, and it's super fucked up. I'm venting here right now, but I'm very excited that more people are starting to speak out about this, especially women in the fitness industry, because newsflash, not all of us look the same, and we shouldn't. And personally, I'm happy to be a body type that people can feel more relatable to, because for most of us, we're never going to have 15% body fat for a long period of time, if ever. So I'm happy to be someone that people see me and feel like they can relate to me more, because I'm not that ideal or whatever expected version of what a personal trainer looks like, because I'm a real person and this is my body and this is what I look like, and I'm really healthy and I'm really strong and I feel good in my body, and I'm not just constantly trying to lose fat to look a certain way. Kind of piggybacking off of that point with fitness goals and the way that we talk about our bodies in relation to fitness is just the way that we talk about our bodies in general. I'm sure, especially if you're a woman, I'm sure you've seen this where, we maybe compliment somebody, say, oh, like you're looking really good. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, but I still have this. And we grab, oh, this, or I have this under here. And playing into that is something I won't do anymore. If somebody wants to talk about their body that way, I'm not going to be the one to say, oh, well, I have fat around my stomach too, or oh, I'm really self-conscious too, or because it reinforces the idea that this is super important, that the way our bodies look is what's the most important about us. And it's not at all. Yes, it's great to be healthy and to feel good in your body and to look good and look the way you want to, but it doesn't make you who you are. I've been more lean, I've been heavier, I'm still the same person. It's just my outer shell. And again, it's fine. If you have fitness goals, like so do I. That's great. But please don't let it overcome you and make you feel that who you are as a person and your worth is mainly tied to how your body looks. And be very careful about the way that you talk to other people about their bodies, which really you shouldn't be, because it's not really your business what somebody else's body looks like. But if you constantly are talking about your flaws, your physical flaws in your body, and oh, I ate bad, I'm bad for doing this, then that just reinforces the idea that that's normal and that's what people should do and that's what we do. If you want to try to change that, then think about the things you say about other people. Instead of complimenting somebody's body, compliment their personality, compliment their accomplishments or what you love about them. And you can do this for yourself. Instead of saying, oh, I feel so good when I have a flat stomach, I feel really good when I have a good workout. I feel really good when I'm hanging out with my kids or my husband. And I feel really good when I do a good job at work because I'm really fucking good at my job. Those are the types of things that you can say to yourself that have nothing to do with your body, but they have more to do with you and your value and who you are as a person. Start paying more attention to how you hear other people in society and magazines and TV, how you hear them talking about people's bodies and people's image and food, and maybe start to question that or be a little more critical of what they're actually saying. Because if we can start to change those conversations and eliminate diet culture and kind of start focusing on people for who they are and not just their bodies and what our bodies should look like and what we should be eating, then we can start to eliminate that and hopefully cut back on eating disorders and disordered eating. Remember that your body is not the only thing about you that matters. It's not the only thing of value. It's just the vessel that carries you. And again, I understand it's natural to want to feel good and look good, and maybe you have fitness goals. That's totally fine. But if you feel like your body and the way you look is the most important thing about you, then you probably are under the grips of diet culture. And I just want you to know that there is a way out of that. But it takes some inner work to realize the things that you have been telling yourself that maybe you believe to be true, but they're not actually true. And once you can start to see that and see that you have so much more to offer the world and you are so much more valuable than just your body, you can start to finally just accept your body as it is right now. Whether you love it or not, you can accept it as it is right now and know that it's just a body. And there are so many other things about you that are so much more valuable and more important than just how you physically look. If you feel like you're struggling with any sort of eating disorder or disordered eating, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to discuss that with you and also shoot you in the right direction to other professionals or resources that can help you, because this is a really serious issue that so many of us deal with, and there is no shame in it. It's so many of us go through it, myself included, and having moved past it and not dealing with those things anymore, I can say that my life is so much better, so much more fulfilling, and so much more free, because I am not ruled by the way my body looks. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you next Friday with an awesome interview that I'm really excited about.